Hey Hangsighters, and welcome to another edition of Tale Times Part 19. It's been one hell of another weekend of wrestling where we had the Hall of Fame, NXT Takeover Florida? No, NXT Takeover Philadelphia? No, even better, NXT Takeover New Orleans, which was great. I'm going to go into full detail about that. And last but not least, WrestleMania 34 is totally in the butts. But let's get this started. The Hall of Fame was pretty good. Most of the people that were inducted were mostly people that I grew up watching. And this was probably the first Hall of Fame that I watched in its entirety. Ivory, the Dudley Boys, Goldberg, Mark Henry, Kid Rock to this step. Um, you know, the other people like JJ, the little kid or whatever his name is, JJ. Like the Warrior word is like is touching or whatever, but it just like kind of brings the show down to a more sombering feeling, and I really didn't like that at all. I don't even think I watched it, but that happened. And Hillbilly Jim's speech was so fucking long. I have my gripes with long speeches. Like, if you're gonna do a presentation where you're talking about your career, save it up to at least 5 to 10 minutes. Don't just make up a whole story about how you were raised in the business and boring people with things that they don't know anything about. They can just watch that for themselves on shoot interviews or looking up stories on the internet. That's not something to really talk about in the stage where probably a million people is watching and maybe they'll turn off the TV or whatever they'll be watching. So I just dozed off on Hillbilly Jim's speech. Goldberg's speech was dozing off as well. I mean, to be fair, I think I was dozing off on most of the Hall of Fame. There's three speeches I really liked. Kid Rock's speech was good. It lasted about 5 minutes. He said a joke that was really funny to me. He referred to himself as a Republican, which rose up to people showing people's reaction when he said that. And then he said something else about, oh, I'm a Republican, so that means I'm going to be slamming some Democrats through the table. And a lot of people were laughing, especially AJ Styles, who's like not a Democrat, and was like looking at him all weird and everything. It was just really funny. Kid Rock also talked about how he wouldn't really be here if it wasn't for making the American Badass theme song by The Undertaker, and that was cool too. Mark Henry's speech was entertaining. I liked the part where he identified himself as sexual chocolate, picking up lines to Stephanie McMahon, calling her up, saying if he wants to meet up someday, even though she's married, clearly. I know it was a joke, but she didn't really look flattered enough when Mark Henry was talking to her like that. He really wanted Martha Hart to pretty much let Owen Hart, who's probably like one of our inspirational wrestlers of the past 20 years, to go in the Hall of Fame. It's been overdue. I think she should just get her head out of her ass and start thinking about who Owen Hart is more appreciated, not just by the family but the fans as well. But maybe it will do something. But I'm on that ride if anything goes on with Owen Hart going to Hall of Fame. I'm 100% with that. So that was cool. And the Dudley Boys speech, I was really proud of the Dudley Boys going to Hall of Fame. When I first started watching wrestling, they were one of the first tag teams that really enlightened me all the time when they had their matches, and every chance that they'll put someone to the table, it was really entertaining. So they started talking about their career as a whole, wrestling in ECW, WWE, all around the world, and becoming the one of the first tag teams to win a total of 19 championships in every company that they've been in. So that's really impressive. You can say otherwise, but they really worked their butts off to really get those belts and getting over with the fans. That's the number one rule that they were talking about in their speech. If you're not over with the crowd, then you're doing yourself a disservice, which is number one rule that I think all aspiring people that want to be wrestlers should go for. I want to give the Hall of Fame a 7 out of 10. It was really good. Then we get to NXT Takeover New Orleans. There are maybe 2 matches. I'm not going to go into the whole show because not every match was expectational. I mean, I'm not going to suck NXT off like everyone else. Oh, NXT's one of the greatest shows ever. It can be, but it also has its flaws. But let me tell you its flaws right now. One of the flaws that I had a gripe with was the World Championship. Aleister Black winning and all was good, but I didn't like how he won. I think he should have waited, or maybe they should have wrote him a better story for him to win the title a little bit longer, because he's only been in the company for a year. Knowing someone for a year is not exactly like grandstanding for them to be a champion. I mean, look at other guys who won the championship within a year and they got overrushed. I mean, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, maybe they're different names, but that's the only top young guys I can think of in my head that won a belt that early, so it didn't really do them a disservice. But that was a good highlight. Match of the night probably was Gargano versus Ciampa, of course. Everyone raved and ranted about that. It really told a good story. You got 2 guys that were a good tag team. Everyone loved them. And then a turn came out of nowhere for Ciampa and everyone else. So they wanted to tell themselves how good they both were in the ring. You can just tell the crowd loved every second of it, including me. I love that match. Roger Strong turning on Pete Dunne was a highlight for me. It's probably really shocking. I don't know, considering I don't watch NXT most of the time, as I guess a regular normie fan, it was shocking, so I would give that a thumbs up. I don't know what's gonna happen to Pete Dunne. Maybe he's still the UK champion, but they haven't really done jack shit with that division, except when you go to European tours, of course. So that's all I have to say about that as a whole. So I'll give NXT Takeover New Orleans a 7 or 8.5 out of 10. It was really good, like most takeovers, but like I said, a few flaws, but overall good.
Alright, the final caveat. WrestleMania 34. Man, I got a lot to say about this.
Now, I'm not going to go again into full detail for WrestleMania because it was just so damn long. Who has time to watch? Who the fuck has time to watch a 6+ hour show of wrestling? I mean, your boy loves it. I mean, the sport, but I don't have time to watch that crap, especially most of the matches that I don't care about. There's maybe like 4 to 5 matches that were on that I either walked away and got something to eat, or I just muted and listened to music. I mean, it's just, they gotta learn to just cut down stuff that no one really cares about. So for that, I'm gonna talk about things that I did watch and I was enjoying or had something to say. So, number 1, Undertaker returning. Didn't like the fact that he was a dead man. I would have preferred him coming out as the American Badass, Big Evil, just being himself, because when he was Big Evil, it was an ascension of who he was in real life. He enjoys riding motorcycles, kicking ass, and just being like a true person. Let's face it, guys. Undertaker's 53 years old, and him still being a zombie-like character or mythical god or whatever, it's just ridiculous. So when he came out as the dead man, I was just kind of disappointed. And him and John Cena, that match would have been fine 7-8 years ago, but right now, considering it didn't, who's to gain? Undertaker beating John Cena, it doesn't hurt John Cena. It doesn't even help The Undertaker, because they're both are not going to be here within the next maybe month or so, especially not the Undertaker. So and it really shows his age too. Um, it seems like I think I blocked my hand. It seems like Undertaker wasn't ready to have a 100% match against John Cena, uh, considering what happened to him the past few years. You know, I'm sorry. I may be one of the few people that say this, but Undertaker has to really retire. He's got to retire. I mean, there's just no maybe there's an argument, but there's probably one side that thinks that Undertaker it can't do it as much as he used to anymore. I mean, of course he can't. The guy's 53 years old. Like he just hang up the boots, go to Hall of Fame, and live his. He had a long career. You know, Undertaker's got nothing to gain anymore. He needs to retire. Like maybe his ego doesn't want him to retire, but it's just pretty obvious that the guy can't move as much anymore. So that was my main thing with the Undertaker. Oh, and by the way, was that hair extensions on the Undertaker, or was it just my eyes being so dozed off of how long the show was? Let me know. Another thing that I enjoyed was, oh man, my arms like really getting tired. I've been talking for so long, I forgot one of my, I have two arms. I gotta hold one of them, right? So let me move on. So another part that I think everyone talked about, and I really enjoyed too, was Ronda Rousey's impressive like star power like performance. I mean, I really thought at like some people that she was going to fail and maybe be a little bit deer caught in the headlights sort of method on her, but she really exceeded everyone else and and people's expectations. So her performance was really good. Stephanie did her part too. Everyone did their part. Kurt Angle, Triple H. You know, I, you know, if you guys watch my past videos, you know that I said I'm not really a Triple H fan. I never have been, but he did his thing and Kurt Angle. So I'll give everyone a thumbs up for that, and the crowd really enjoyed it too. So for me, it was probably match of the night. Argumentally the match of the night. So I would pick that as probably one of the best WrestleMania matches of like all time. So kudos to Ronda Rousey. I really hope she continues her goal to being a WWE superstar wrestler, whatever you want to call it. Another part that I want to discuss is Roman Reigns bleeding hard way. Uh, I don't know what WWE had in mind. Okay, first of all, that was a complete shit show. Uh, everyone was completely booing the match. No one really was paying attention. I was looking at my phone the whole time when that match. Like I had it cranked up on my computer, but didn't really pay attention because I already knew it was gonna suck. But Brock Lesnar winning was unsuspected, so I didn't really think that was going to happen. I don't know if he's gonna lose it. Today is Monday, so tonight. I don't know if he's gonna lose it tonight on Raw, or within the next like couple weeks, because since he's going back to UFC, I don't think it really makes sense. Unless they want to pull a CM Punk work real life sort of story where he brings the Universal title to UFC and calls himself the real champion, but obviously Vince McMahon won't let that slide. It would just be an embarrassment to him. So he's probably gonna lose that belt within the next night or couple weeks. Mark my words. But okay, Roman Reigns. I really kind of felt bad when he got cut like that. I mean, like WWE's been really careful with banning chair shots and repeating blows that will make people have really blowed headed to their skulls. So Brock Lesnar doing that to Roman Reigns is exactly really helping out their stigma of being a really careful environment. So I hope even though I'm not a fan of Roman's in-ring skills, but someone doesn't really deserve that. in my mind. I mean, I thought it was really brutal the way that happened. I hope he's alright. So, I don't know what's next for Brock Lesnar. Like I said, maybe he'll lose the belt to Bobby Lashley. Don't quote me on that. I'm just predicting, but maybe Bobby Lashley will come and beat Brock Lesnar and pull a page out of the book. See what I did there? Oh, Braun Strowman and this story that he did last night. So here I am thinking that he's gonna pick maybe Rey Mysterio or somebody in the back, right? Or even Kurt Hawkins, like considering what he did to the poor bastard last week. So here I am thinking maybe he'll pick one of those guys. But guess what he did? He picked a 10-year-old child out of the audience. Maybe it's someone else's son. Like, well, the kid that he picked looked like Shane McMahon's son, one of the long-haired little boys. So maybe I thought that was that. But it turned out that this kid Nicholas, I don't know if that's his name, but he's the son of WWE referee John Cone. Now, if you guys know John Cone, he's a very distinctive guy who's been working in the square circle for a couple of years, I want to say. And so when I heard that he was a son, I'm like, oh, that's good for, that's like almost every child's dream is to stand, with their favorite wrestler. I mean, that's probably like what I would do if I were that age as well back in the day. Let's say like I teamed up with Kurt Angle or something or Brock Lesnar, and if he just picked me out of the crowd out of nowhere, like I'll just go crazy. So I bet you that kid must have really been creaming inside when he got picked by. Well, of course it must have been scripted, but he deep down he must have been really happy that he got into the ring with those superstars. We probably won't want to talk about it as the years go by. So good for him. And people were by the way, people were angry that that happened. Guys, lighten up. Wrestling's entertainment. I didn't really care that that happened. Because it's not a real reign. What they're probably gonna do is have Braun Strowman get a real partner and tell Nicholas to hit the Brits and go to school and Ashley get an education. you know, so that's going on, and that was a really shocking moment. It was an entertaining one at best, but to the fans that are mad at this, you are living a very sad life, and I'm very ashamed of what we're living in nowadays. Like everyone's getting mad over every little thing. I don't get it. I just don't get it. But nonetheless, very good to see that moment. Last but not least, and I'm probably gonna cut this, but who else didn't see Oscar losing to Charlotte coming? I know Charlotte's supposed to be like this, the female like women's like superior to everyone that's standing in her way or whatever. I really don't think that. I look at Charlotte as just like any other female wrestler. She's not anything special, so don't give me that shit, okay? And when she made Oscar tap out, I was shocked first of all because Oscar's always been she's been undefeated for a couple years, and I didn't really think she'll lose that quickly. Tapping out at least to Charlotte. I don't think this will hurt her. If Oscar has another match on Raw or another pay-per-view, if she wins competitively, then it will just be probably forgotten about, and probably good riddance also because of course not everyone should be undefeated in wrestling. It's just ridiculous. So uh, it's good that Oscar lost, so that means she'll have like actual matches where we'll know if she won or lose, and not just oh hey, Oscar's automatically gonna win. But not anymore. We won't think that because she lost. And it was such a blur. Mostly like WrestleMania. It was just. I mean, I give it like I wasn't. To be honest, I wasn't really excited about this year's WrestleMania like as a whole build up. Because most of the matches I just really didn't care, or like I just thought it was a detriment to some of the superstars. Finn Balor, Seth Rollins main evented SummerSlam 2 years ago. They were meant to, guys. They were main eventers, okay? And at that night, Seth Rollins won the Intercontinental title, blah blah blah. Whatever. I just think compared to what he did 3 years ago when he won the WWE Championship, he was in the main event scene. He was just downgraded. So like I didn't really care that much that he won the Intercontinental Championship, and that's just my opinion. That's what being a wrestling fan. Not everyone can agree on everything, that or else everything would be boring. That would just be lame. So that's why I have a different opinion. So Seth Rollins pinning The Miz was anything but lackluster to me. I didn't really enjoy it. Um, Same with the, I already said this before, but I didn't even really think much about Undertaker returning as dead man. The guy's 53 years old, and we're supposed to believe that he can outsell pain with his zombie character at the age of 53. Get a grip, please. I don't know. So, what would I give WrestleMania? I would give WrestleMania probably like, as a out of 10, probably like a 5 out of 10. It was average at best. I enjoyed last year a little bit more. Um, you know, like just like there was maybe like more matches last year that I enjoyed that I was looking forward to than this year's. So, yeah, that's I think I should just cut it over there. I'm not gonna watch Raw tonight because of unfortunately work, and maybe after work I'll probably be tired. So maybe like the next day when I have my day off, I'm gonna probably watch Raw and go on there. All right, guys. See you later. Okay, just a quick heads up. I forgot to mention Daniel Bryan's return match alongside with Shane McMahon against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Didn't like the fact that they took out Daniel Bryan early in the match, but hey, what are you gonna do, right? So Shane McMahon, who has probably one of the worst punches, count them, probably 16, 17 worst punches that he ever did in that match. In general, he has the worst punches I've ever seen in my life in wrestling. So I don't even buy it when he goes and beats up Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It's unbelievable. And then they won, highlighting Daniel Bryan's Yes Movement. My favorite part is the Terminator-esque intro that they did for Daniel Bryan, where sequencing the same place, the Superdome, when he won the world belt, and pretty much the last time like he did anything like remotely like memorable. Like that's the moment that everybody remembers. I like that they did that. So Daniel Bryan won that, and I'm such a silly goober. Also, I forgot to mention too that Sensei Nakamura turned heel on AJ Styles. First of all, the match wasn't as expectational as I thought it would be. I thought it would just exceed everyone's like expectations, but it was just an average match at best. Now, I don't blame it on them. I think it's more of two reasons. When you have a show that's 6.5 hours long, and there's so much wrestling that people are watching, you're gonna get burned out really easily, of course. And there had to be some limitation in the ring of what both Styles and Nakamura can do. This is not New Japan, everybody. They have to wrestle in WWE style way, which that means some moves are going to be restricted. So, too bad. I didn't really get the heel turn. Nakamura getting on his knees like he's about to suck AJ Styles' dick. Then he just kicks him right in the balls. It's just unbelievable. So that happened, and yeah. Forgot to mention those two. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later. To future me. Okay, it's 2:15 currently in the morning. I just got done watching Raw and a little bit of Smackdown. But here is what really happened that I like. Bobby Lashley coming back was a surprise. I hope he does well with the current roster that WWE has. Him squashing Elias is not really a big deal. I would have preferred him maybe going after Brock Lesnar, like I said earlier, but it is what it is. I always liked Bobby Lashley. He's a good guy. Another person who had to retire sadly is Paige, repping the t-shirt, by the way. I knew that Paige was gonna retire for like a couple months, but ever since like she said that she was going to be retired, it was not like a really good spot to really say that. But later on, she ended up becoming the general manager of Smackdown. So kudos to that. Yeah. Oh man, I'm so beat. I'll just be brief. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce made her debut, blah 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 blah, beat up on Charlotte. Carmella cashes in, becomes a champion. Opposite Payne made her debut, yeah, whatever. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles had one hell of a match. Nakamura came by and ruined it in the end. Him and AJ Styles, he has a thing for balls, I guess, according to AJ Styles' balls. Like, how many times did he low blow him? Like 4 times? Man, he's obsessed with them. He wants to suck his dick so bad. But they're gonna have a good feud, and yeah, I'm just gonna end off here. I'm just really beat, but I hope you guys liked this video. I'll be sure to create some more content to you as always in the near future. Peace.